What's going on, YouTube? It's Sensei, the place to be chilling, Mr. Andy. Better give you guys another Raw review for June 22nd, 2020. And so this is Raw. We are 3 weeks from Sunday to Extreme Rules. That ugly, purple, neon, ugly 90s Extreme Rules logo. So we start off the show with Drew McIntyre coming out to the ring. And the newest draft pick over to Raw, which is the trade for AJ Styles, Dolph Ziggler. Bobby Roode is over there too, but Bobby Roode was not out there for the segment. So Dolph Ziggler's out there, and Dolph Ziggler is talking about how, Drew, I'm very proud of your accomplishments. You became the WWE champion, and you made a name for yourself here on Raw, all because of me. And then he says that you were fired, and then came back with the NXT, but you was brought over to Raw because of me. We were the most dominant tag team champions because of me. And you got that WWE championship because of me. And I think I'm due for what I'm owed, and that's a WWE championship match at Extreme Rules. This is the payoff rivalry that I wanted back when McIntyre Ziggler was a thing, because Ziggler was actually had a great rivalry with Seth Rollins for the Intercontinental Championship. And he's put on all A-list matches at that time, and actually Dolph Ziggler had a little more credibility, if that sentence even means anything these days, opposed to Dolph Ziggler now. So then Drew McIntyre said, "Oh yeah, Dolph. Well," he said, "ever since the Claymore wasn't there to protect you, you've been losing a lot of matches. You gave me a name, the Scottish Psychopath." And he says, "I am the Scottish Psychopath, and what do you think I would do when this title is on the line? But do you want it? I'll give it to you." So at Extreme Rules, it's going to be Dolph Ziggler taking on Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship. It will be a good match. We know Ziggler's not winning the championship. It's just another body for McIntyre to be, just to get him over that 8-week hump until we get back to SummerSlam, which I think we're either going to put Bobby back in the picture, we're going to put Brock back in the picture, or whatever the case may be. But I think it's going to be them three men somehow, some way in that championship picture when it comes to SummerSlam. But right now, they just need a body. They didn't say if it's going to be an Extreme Rules match, even though it's called Extreme Rules. That's why I hate that pay-per-view. They haven't announced that yet or anything. So as of right now, it's just Drew McIntyre taking on Dolph Ziggler for the WWE Championship. So as they were talking about it, Nia Jax is coming out. She wasn't scheduled to come out. She grabs a chair, sits into the ring, and she's sitting in the ring. She said, "I'm not going anywhere until," and then R-Truth's music hit. R-Truth comes out, does his what's up and everything, and gets into the ring and says, "Look, I have a match here with Akira Tozawa, that ninja, to defend my 24/7, 48/7, 7-Eleven, I-95 South. I binge watch Reno 911. I can tell you how to try to make Nia Jax laugh. Championship." And he said, "Unless you are Akira Tozawa, because they say ninjas are master of disguise, or look how he said." She said, "No, I ain't got time to deal with you, Drew. Do you have anything else to add to Akira Tozawa?" And then he says, "You could be or not." They see Akira Tozawa by the announce table. He was like, "Oh, it's two Tozawas." So then the ninjas and them chase R-Truth off, and then Nia Jax again start talking on the mic. Then Charlotte comes out. And then Charlotte comes out, and then as she's getting in the ring, has somebody lower it for her, stop the promo. Nia Jax does the traditional, "Well, you know what? The only reason you got any kind of shots every day is because of your father." You know what, though? If this was an edgier program, if this was AEW, this is what would have happened. So when Nia Jax want to pull out you only get these championships, you only get these top shots, you only get the opportunity because you're Ric Flair's daughter. She should have said, "The only reason why you still got a job right now is because you're The Rock's niece." How about it? I'm just saying, you going around injuring people, and you have injured over 9 women in your time in WWE, the main roster. The only reason why you still here is because of The Rock and Roman Reigns. If this was an edgier product, that's what Charlotte should have said, but she didn't. And then she said, my dad is called Charlotte Flair's dad, and he enjoys it. But you know what? You're right, because Ric Flair is responsible. My dad's responsible for breaking Charlotte's undefeated streak, and he's responsible for winning the Royal Rumble, and blah, 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 blah. And Nia Jax says, "Well, you know what? You talk about all these people you beat, but you never beat me. And the only one that can take that crown off your head is me. So they start brawling. Her and Nia Jax start fighting a little bit. Charlotte starts favoring her arm a little bit, and I'm like, okay, something wrong with Charlotte's arm. Like did I miss a part of the segment where like Charlotte and Nia Jax targeted her arm or hurt her arm? I'm not necessarily sure, but she was holding her arm after the thing. So finally, after all the competitions we've had, we finally get a regular straight up tag team championship match on the Raw of Champions show, basically like a Night of Champions for Raw. So for the Raw Tag Team Championships, we got the Viking Raiders taking on the Street Profits. A good matchup here by these two. These two got some good chemistry. However, I would like to see like a competitive more match with them. There was a time where they would test each other's moves where Montez goes for a cartwheel, then Hanson goes for a cartwheel, they're tagging Dawkins, and then Eric goes for a cartwheel, then Dawkins goes for a cartwheel, they all go cartwheels and stuff like that. I was like, what's going on here? So they fighting, and then Montez and Andrew Dawkins hits the Viking experience on Eric. Hanson breaks it up, and then he gets the sky high to Hanson, and then we get the frog splash, and the Street Profits, for the first time, beat the Viking Raiders. They beat down the Viking Raiders in a good matchup, and afterwards there's some good sportsmanship between the two. And then Angel Garza and I'm about to say Humberto, and Andrade come down, starts beating up the Street Profits, and then the Viking Raiders come and help them out to push them off. So it looks like that Andrade and Angel Garza are next in line. So this Selena Vega thing is going on. They're the next in line to become, the challenge for the tag team championship. I can understand that Andrade has a championship no more. You probably could put them in a team and have them do something, because I like them too as a team. Like I said, the Austin Theory thing didn't work, but I think Austin Theory found what he was supposed to be doing in all the first place anyway. So that's probably what's going to come up at Extreme Rules. Don't necessarily know. Seth Rollins delivers a prophecy to Rey Mysterio backstage because Rey Mysterio returns tonight. And then Edge cuts is obviously he's arm taped up, and he's in a ring, in like a dark ring somewhere. He cuts a promo on Randy Orton, and he's letting Randy Orton know that you couldn't help yourself but to beat me. You do anything you can to beat me. So he beat me in the greatest wrestling match ever. Great match. It wasn't the best wrestling match ever. And then he said, but this is about his best friend for 33 years, Christian. He said, I know before the way for doing Christian. He's been there with me through every up and down I've been through, and you decided to punk kick him knowing he wasn't clear to compete, because Christian has like a lot of concussions, so he is not clear to compete to wrestle at all, or take bumps or nothing. So they gave him the punk kick. So of course Orton gave him the safe punk kick as he could, but and camera angles can make it look like it worse than what it is. And he says so he vows to tear Randy Orton's life apart. He said, when you come in there, your kids see you, and they're like, Dad, you're alright, and you're gonna be like, they're gonna look at you and you know that you're not alright. He said, I'm gonna be in your head, you hear the voice in your head, I'm gonna be the loudest voice. So it looks like Edge is gonna rehab hard as hell to see if he can come back for SummerSlam. I don't want him to force anything because he's Edge and he's old, and it's gonna further injury. But the thing is, I don't know what they're gonna try to do for SummerSlam. They're gonna wait to WrestleMania. I don't know how they're gonna do it, or because SummerSlam, like I said, is about 9 weeks away for SummerSlam. So I don't know what I don't know what SummerSlam's plans are. I don't know what the world's gonna be looking like at that time. So we don't necessarily know. So finally, R-Truth comes out for his match against Akira Tozawa. And then, before we get that, here comes Bobby Lashley and MVP taking out R-Truth with the full Nelson. Got him, and they just beating the hell out of R-Truth. And then Akira Tozawa comes in and steals the pin. And then Akira Tozawa is the new 24/7 champion. Now, at first I was like, I don't know if he's going to steal something, but that's how that segment ended. I got ahead of myself. I apologize for that, because before that matchup happened, we had the Raw Women's Championship, Asuka taking on Charlotte. The story going is Asuka can never beat Charlotte. Never. She hasn't beat it. Charlotte's the one that ended Asuka's undefeated streak, but she beating all the other horsewomen. Becky, Sasha, Bayley, she beat them all, but she has not beaten Charlotte. And this goes back to NXT. This all goes back to NXT. She beat Bayley in NXT. And then she beat Sasha on Raw, and then she beat Becky obviously countless times, and then Becky finally did beat her. So now Asuka gonna get Charlotte. These women put together magic. They once again had another good matchup. Charlotte, but once again, is holding the arm. As soon as I seen Charlotte selling the arm in this matchup, I said, "This is how they're gonna play out of Charlotte losing to Asuka in this one." Asuka's gonna win with a what they call it? I forgot the word that they use for. It's not a handicap. Another word for handicap. So like asterisk on it. So Charlotte goes. Asuka has the arm bar. Charlotte picks her up for a power bomb, but then Charlotte grabs her quickly and puts her in the Asuka lock. And then all of a sudden she just sent a choke in the back, and then Charlotte finally taps out. And then there you have it. Asuka finally beats Charlotte for the Raw, and then she retains the Raw Women's Championship. So that was a good match. And then after that, that's when the whole R-Truth and MVP thing happened. Natalya comes down to face Liv Morgan. She comes out with Lana. It's nothing really big here. Lana kind of gives Liv Morgan a little bit of distraction, and then Natalya gives the sharpshooter on Liv Morgan and holds it in after the submission. Backstage, Liv Morgan is approached by Ruby Riott. She says she don't want to hear it. She failed last week. She failed this week, so she really don't need her to bring her down anymore. So it looks like Ruby's trying to go face, maybe trying to bring back the Riott Squad. Kind of can't, but still trying to talk to Liv Morgan, see if they can rekindle something, because there is a tag team. There's women's tag team championships out there. Maybe, just maybe, they can go out there and do something. So next up, we are having Ric Flair present Randy Orton as the greatest wrestler in the world after having the greatest match in the world. Are you kidding me? But look, so Ric Flair's coming out there with his gold suit, and he anoints Randy Orton as the greatest ever. So, but then all of a sudden, the Big Show comes out for heel face turn number 256, I have to say. And then he talked about what he didn't do to Christian. He said, but look, show me, you go back 20 years, you know what I'm saying? You have great accolades. I'm not taking away anything from you. You have a great resume, and some will even call you a legend. And you're a surefire Hall of Famer one day. So, we friends, I don't want to mess that up, but if you get in my way, you know what I'm saying, you're going to, basically feel the effects of this RKO or of Randy Orton. Then Big Show said, all right, come on. And he's ready to fight. Then he says, no, he got out the ring. He said, let's go, Rick. These two are obviously going to probably have a matchup at Extreme Rules. I love Legend Killer Randy Orton. That's what made Randy Orton one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. Legend Killer Randy Orton from that 2003-2004 era. But that's when Randy Orton was asshole Randy Orton, okay? Randy Orton, with the maturity in this version of the Legend Killer Randy Orton, I love it even more, because now he thinks in his head that we're cool, we legends together, but you keep getting in my way. I have to end you. You keep bringing this on yourself. That's what I like about this Randy Orton. And so obviously he's going to take on it looks like he's going to take on the Big Show at Extreme Rules. That's probably what's going to happen. Tag Team Championships up next. The Women's Tag Team Championships are up next when Bayley and Sasha Banks go head to head with the Iconics. So they come out. The match is not really that long. Bayley forces Sasha Banks to go in first, and she gets a boot by Billie Kay, and we thought it was going to be over, but Sasha kicks out, and then so the match is going on. Billie Kay gets knocked to the outside. Peyton Royce is in the inside. She gets a knee by Bayley. Then she gets a double side slam by Sasha and Bayley. And then after a kick out, Sasha goes for the bank statement, and then she taps out. So Sasha and Bayley retain the championships. Bayley celebrates on the mic a little bit, but then Sasha says, look, I mean, you are Bayley Deuce Belts, or how Bayley calls herself. And she says, that I'm happy for you. You are my best friend, but I want to be happy too. So I want a title match. Everybody was like, ooh, what's that stuff like piped in, and Bayley's looking like, what? And then she was like, I want a women's title match. So at Extreme Rules, I'm going to challenge Asuka for the Raw Women's Championship. And Bayley starts laughing, and then so it was all swerve, even though the seeds are being planted, because I think Bayley's going to accidentally screw over Sasha, at Extreme Rules, and we get the Sasha and Bayley match finally at SummerSlam. So Asuka comes out, and then she starts doing all the cursing them out in Japanese, and it's gonna be a good match of bodies too. But then Sasha Banks comes and they brawl for a little bit, but then she puts Asuka in the bank statement. So it's gonna be a good matchup because, like I said, Asuka has had great matches with all members of the Four Horsewomen. So MVP is in the back, and he's like, "Look, I gotta get ready for the MVP lounge, and my guest is going. There's gonna be Apollo Crews." So he brings Apollo Crews out and lets Apollo Crews know that, hey, I understand what you're doing. We talked about it, and look, when you beat me in the Money in the Bank qualifying match, that was dope. But then you kind of tweaked your knee and you missed it. So he said, I understand you understand about the fighting part about the championship, but you're not necessarily understanding about the business part because you're over here challenging Shelton Benjamin again. And he says, look, with me, I'm telling you, because you will be a great United States champion, but not as great as me, but you'll be a great United States champion. And then he said, look, P, I'm not even going to try to come back. I'm not even trying to do all that. I know you're trying to get at with this, but my answer is still no. He says, well, look, I only going to ask you twice. It's not going to be a third time. And that United States Championship will come back to where it belongs. And then he was about to square up in MVP's face. But then Shelton Benjamin comes down. And he said, hold on, Shelton, could I get a moment? Can I get a moment real quick? And then Paul turns to him. And then Shelton Benjamin takes him from behind. And then throws his shoulder into the post. And then he says, that gem right there, I gave you for free. When he says, I forgot what he said, don't turn your back on something like that. But the next one's going to cost you. So we got Shelton Benjamin versus Apollo Crews for United States champion. I think it was for the champ. Was it for a championship? I'm not sure. But the match was very simple. Best move of the match is Apollo goes for his standing moonsault and Benjamin catches him in an arm bar. So I thought it was good. He gives us the spin out powerbomb to Benjamin and wins the matchup. So, but before, as he goes up the ring, Bobby Lashley comes and gives him the full Nelson, and he got it locked in there and just ragdolls Apollo Crews with the full Nelson as MVP looks at the championship. So I don't know if Bobby Lashley is going to go for the United States Championship at Extreme Rules and take it from Apollo Crews or whatever the case may be, because MVP talked about bringing it home. And right now, I think MVP is trying to build the stable, that slow burn to build the stable. But I don't know if it's Apollo that's going to join or if it's going to be Shelton Benjamin that's going to join or whoever's going to probably join this whole thing. But right now, it's just Bobby. And I know Bobby is still trying to be focused on the WWE Championship. So I don't know what the plans are. Plans have changed since people have gone home and this thing has happened. So Rey Mysterio was out there to talk with Dominic and talked about, how shocked and proud he was that he fought off 3 men last week, but he's so disappointed in him and upset with him that he went out and put himself at risk. He says, look, man, I know you bigger than me. I know no matter how big and strong you get than me, you always gonna be my little boy. You mine. And then Seth Rollins comes out, and then Seth Rollins is just like, look, I don't, I don't understand. Like, I don't know what you guys want me to do. You want me to come down there? You want me to stay up here? But I know 2 eyes are better than 1. This is all fate. It's not up to me of what I do. It's all about prophecy. So he starts walking down, and then next thing you know, you see Murphy and Austin Theory come out, and behind them is Aleister Black and Humberto Carrillo beating them up. And then Rey Mysterio goes and Dominic start beating everybody up. They take out Theory and Murphy, and then they have Seth Rollins. They try to drag him over to the steel steps to throw his eye in the steel steps. But just before they do it, here comes Murphy and Theory to break them up, and they all break them up. And then they hold Rey Mysterio, and he try to get Dominic to go. And Seth Rollins is trying to push Dominic's face into the steel steps. And then all of a sudden, here comes Aleister Black and Humberto with chairs. And I don't know what the matchup is going to be for Extreme Rules between them. I thought it was going to be Dominic versus Seth Rollins. I'm not sure. But that's how Raw goes off. So Raw this week was pretty decent. I actually enjoyed Raw this week. So I'm giving Raw a passing grade. I mean, obviously, it could do better on certain other things. But yeah, I'm giving Raw a passing grade this week. So what do you guys grade Raw? Post down in the comments down below. Hit the like button if you guys enjoyed my review. Hit the subscribe button for more WWE content right here on Nerd Coalition. So once again, this is NCN Place to Be. Chun Mr. A&E, and Nerd Coalition is out.